Hey team, giving you an update of XRP. When you're trading, it's scary to trade and look emotionally. In emotionally when you're trading. If you were to look at this candle back here on the daily chart, price had come all the way down to here, and so at one point all of this was red, and that was scary. And then the next bar was also scary. And if you were looking at that, I have been telling everybody, hey, we have some weekly and we have some daily support at these purple and green line right here. And I had told you, and you may have think, wow, that's the end. And there are a lot of people who sold up here thinking we were gonna come down, come very down, but that didn't happen. Um, that didn't happen, and what actually happened is that we bounced really high. And I told you guys I was not selling past that 52 at this moment. I just didn't have it in my system. I don't see that that's the case. It's the same situation when you're looking at price over here. Let me go back. Oh, there we go. Back here, you're gonna see the same type of situation happen. Price was forming these long red candles, two of them, and you would think, oh my gosh, this is the end. This is the end. Look at where price is coming down, and you would see that this is in. And yet price did bounce up. Now I wanna let you know that these bars, not these particular bars, but these have a lot of the gotcha bar into them. Now I'm gonna explain later on, very slow, using a piece of using a drawing to show you guys how you have to, if you're a seller, you have to sell into buying. If you're shooting for lower prices, this is how you sell in bulk, and I'm gonna explain that later when I do that. But I want you to know that the reason I trade core to core is because we're able to make safe decisions. It's not saying price is not going to spike through those levels, but for sustained prices, you have to have some real support at those areas. You have to have that support. If you don't have that support, something's not right. And there's some things you're going to be looking at. Now, because we had already spiked through these levels, we saw price rise, but it barely rose and came back down. So these, and now we're seeing saw spike, price spike through them again and then sit on them again, and this time we went up again. But if the last time we bounced on that line, we went up only there. If we come back down to here, how long do you think we can actually maintain? Now I just drew these lines right here so you can have them. On the 4-hour chart, we're sitting underneath this white line right here. Okay, that's that. But there also is another support up here on the daily chart. So I am drawing that, and it is dynamic. So if price were to hit it right now, it's 65. 16. If it were to hit it tomorrow, it's approximately 64.82, and then so forth and so on, 64.44, and it goes lower and lower and lower depending on the day. Okay, so I'll explain that more. But when you see these kinds of things, it's for price to have now as the time where it's going to moon. We would have to break through those lines, this line and that line. And I just don't see it right now. What would need to happen, I'm going to go back down to the 4-hour chart. What needs to happen if price was going to sustain this run is it needs to look something like this. Price is now on the above side. If it closes, it needs to either sit here and then it can go up, or it needs to come and sit either on this fib match. This needs to be strong though, so it usually needs to curve, or it needs to come down here. But this leads me to think, why are we going up now? Why I still believe this is a gotcha bar, because where's the support? The support is these two. The support is the fib, and that's about it. It's just a fib match, and those are not so. Those are more like magnet points rather than support points. Because when we did see the up bar, it was just like suspended up here on no demand. and then the next bar is a super high. We should have saw this candle should have been down here, and we should have saw some kind of signal saying that there was buying, and instead we see selling in the background, especially as we look on the 2-hour. As I was explaining to you, we're actually hovering underneath that, and then price pushes through. That's very, very, very odd, very, very peculiar. So what this tells me is that something is not right. I'm not sold on us sustaining prices up here or even going past this range. Okay, so I'm still out of XRP. I'm not going to chase this candle. Now, if a sell signal sets up, then I need price to arc and come down, and then come back. Because we buy low, we sell high. We don't buy high and sell higher, nor we don't sell low and go lower. That's not how we trade. I mean, you can do that if you're scalping. There are teams who are scalping, but I'm not a scalper, and I put out the map. This is what I do. I put out the map so I can show people where price is going. But there's a lot of those minute trades. I'm sure if I went down to a 15-minute chart, we could see something. But there may be people say, hey, there's still a left unchecked target, and they can do those kinds of things. But as it is, we did have price come up, consolidate. This is not something that I'm taking. I just want to let you guys know there's a lot of danger, especially coming into this weekend. There's a lot of things that are happening into this weekend, why it makes it a little bit dangerous to be trading again. And then the last thing, again, we're still on the underside of this white line. So this is a 4-hour chart. So we have 2 hours and price could still come back below there. The other thing is, on a daily chart, we still have 6 hours left before price can come back and hold down on those, and then that's a sign of further downside. Okay, so these are just the things I'm looking at. This morning there is a lot of resistance areas that they're still on the board, and it doesn't seem like it's time for. Yep, right there. It just doesn't seem like it's time for this to be launching. It's not right. Okay, so I'm just putting these numbers out for you, so you can see them, and you can have this, and just know what I'm doing. I'm not chasing this bar, and we do see this a lot. Just like it would have been the same here. You guys may have saw that before that candle closes. I'm just not sold. Okay, price has to give me better evidence on why it's going up right now. Like, why now? Why, when we're on the underside of that line, it wants to go up? Why can't we? If it was going to go up, it should have gone in it. If it really had that strength to actually sustain keeping prices at 61.91, no, we should have done it above the white line. We should have done it above here. Okay, if prices were going to sustain, it would have done it here, but it didn't. It waited. It actually drifted through and then came up, hit that resistance. So that line, it tells us this line really does exist. It knows it exists. And then why now? Why does it go up now? Why didn't it go up then? Why didn't it push through then? Why didn't it sit on top and then continue like if it was a real uptrend? So all this evidence leads me to believe something's not right with sustained higher prices. I don't think price is going to sustain at these levels. I'm not getting all caught up. I'm going to breakfast. I'm going to lunch. And I'm going to have a good day. Because this is just what I see. If you have any evidence that is the contrary, that this is good, a good support, then go ahead and let me know. But I didn't see price come down and sit at this core level. If price were to jump up, it would have sat down here at this level at what 59.99, and it did it. Okay, instead, it just sat on its fib, sat underneath it after getting stopped right by its trend line, and then now we're pushing up back up on the underside of the belly. It's like hitting a roof. There's a roof here. And then there's a coming intersection here, 64. So if this is you and you guys want to scalp that, if you have a system or method or way to do it. But as for me, I'm paying this no mind. For this moment, I still believe we're going down. The other things that may be on the horizon is if, and I'll do some more calculations tomorrow. But if price comes back and breaks. Because we have a bounce, if price were to break through and it comes up here, that's even more sign of weakness. And just remember one last thing: When price forms tops that are the real tops, it mushrooms over like this. That's a really common thing for price to maintain lower prices. You're gonna see price top. Sometimes price will do this. It'll spike up one, and then it'll spike up a middle, and then it'll spike up a third, not as high. And they call it a head and shoulders pattern. Like there's the head and there's two shoulders. And we need that, and that's very important for sustained lower prices. I'm talking about sustained prices because are we talking about going lower, or are we talking about going higher? If we're going higher, there's a lot of things that have to happen. That's called sustained. If we're going to stay up there, that's sustained. Up until then, price can spike lots of times. Okay, so that's fine. And I just want you to be aware of what's on the horizon, what's on the map. Okay, guys, I'll catch you later this evening.